Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about Unholy Death Knight in Mythic Plus. Now, maybe you have been watching solo leveling and you wanted to roleplay as Jinwoo. Maybe you've been looking at the Mythic Plus meta and you were like, you know what, I'd really like to get an invite to some pug groups. Either way, you're here now and we're going to be diving into a little bit of the stats, the rotation, what pieces of tier set you want to be grabbing, how to be doing an insane amount of damage in Mythic Plus. So I'm going to have timestamps below where you can sort of skip to whatever you need to skip to, and let's dive right into it. Alright guys, we're going to start off with the talent section. So if you don't really care about the interactions or anything like that, you can go ahead and pause the video, screenshot it, and here's the talents that I run pretty much every Mythic Plus dungeon. So if you do care about the interactions and you kind of want to understand why you're running certain talents or which ones you can swap around, I will show you that right now. So for the Death Knight tree, the core tree, I am running March of Darkness. This is kind of the flex point talent that I use. So if I want to have something like Control Undead, I can swap it there. If I want to have a bigger zone, maybe a stun, I can sort of swap things around with that talent. But because we're not running Rider of the Apocalypse this season, I like having a little bit of extra mobility to get out of swirls and stuff like that. Now for the hero talent section, Sand Lane is doing much better in Mythic Plus than Rider of the Apocalypse. Rider's really cool, I like it a lot, but Sand Lane is so strong specifically because of the Blood Beast talent. So I am going to dive a little bit deeper in this in the rotation section, but this is very, very strong right now. For the Unholy section, you can see it's a bit different. If you're a returning Unholy player, it's a bit different because we're not running any of our Apocalypse or Raise Abomination, Army of the Dead talents. This is a pretty much no summon, besides the Magus right here, no summon build. It is just a ton of cleave pressure. You are doing a lot of AoE damage, and spoiler, the Death Coil talents are going to be pumping. So these are the talents that I run, and now let's get into a little bit of the rotation. Alright guys, before we go too deep on rotation, I want to give you a little bit of understanding on where your damage is going to be coming from and what the priority is, so you can understand, you know, what is it that is doing so much damage for Unholy right now. So first things first is going to be your tier set. Now I will go into itemization and the tier set and stats, I promise you, in another section, but long story short, your tier set this season gives you a ton of stacking Death Coil modifiers. Your talents that you choose for this season are also giving you Death Coil damage modifiers. And then your hero tree also gives you stacking Death Coil damage modifiers. Now, this means that Death Coil is going to be doing a lot of damage. So, Death Coil is going to be a main source of your damage when you pull a pack of mobs, even though it only hits a couple targets. However, what your rotation is mostly going to be doing is building up that buff, those buffs as much as possible, so that you can then spam Death Coil. So how it's going to work is when you go up to a pack of mobs, you are going to drop Defile. And what Defile does is it makes it so all of your Scourge Strikes cleave all the targets standing in Defile. So see, I'm hitting it and it's blowing up the other targets as well. It also, because of this talent, has a chance to generate a Festering Wound on the target. Now what a Festering Wound is it's this little, it's almost like a weird combo point that's individual to each target. And whenever you blow up the wound by either pressing Scourge Strike or a Death Coil proc, it does an extra little bit of damage for breaking the wound on the target. So what you're going to be doing, again, is you're going to be dropping the Defile, and then you are going to be applying your diseases. Now, you have 3 different diseases with this build, and then your Scourge Strikes, because of this talent, cause the diseases to tick 100% faster when you're using Scourge Strike. So the one that you really want to be tracking is Essence of the Blood Queen, and I'm going to go over that right now for you. So this is going to be your San Lane hero talent. So whenever you are in Dark Transformation, your Scourge Strike turns into Vampiric Strike. So whenever you're pressing Vampiric Strike, you get stacking haste and death coil damage. So this stacks up to 7. Let's see if we can get another proc. So it stacks up to 7. So when you reach 7, you are doing 35% increased death coil damage, plus the 45% increased death coil damage from your tier sets, plus your death coil damage increased talents. And again, this is why death coil is going to do so much damage. So the main thing that you're going to want to be doing as Unholy is you're going to be wanting to apply your diseases and keep them active on the targets, keep them in Defile, and then you are going to use Dark Transformation to stack Essence of the Blood Queen up to 7. So once we get to 7, we are going to start spamming Death Coil. And that's about it. It's very simple this season. That is kind of your main rotation. Now, a couple other cooldowns that you have. So Unholy Assault is a 1.5 minute cooldown. That is just a flat 20% damage increase. So when you go up to a pack of mobs, you can press that. Press Dark Transformation to start getting those Vampiric Strikes going. Get them up to 7. And then once it's at 7, again, you're just going to be spamming Death Coil. Okay. You'll get these little Festering Scythe procs. What that does is it applies Festering Wounds to all of the targets in front of you. Keep diseases applied. Keep them in Defile. And by using Death Coil, you are going to get procs of Vampiric Strike as well. So, again, we're just keeping it at 7, spamming Death Coil. And that's it. It's a very simple rotation for Unholy this season. You can get this weak aura from, I'll put the website right here, and you can just type in Essence of the Blood Queen. There's a bunch of them. I like to have the big glowy one right in the corner of my screen so I can make sure I am at the 7 stacks to start spamming Death Coil. But that is the main damage rotation for Unholy. Now, a couple interesting bits. So San Lane also has this talent, which is the blood is life. So what this will do is it will spawn, you have a chance at spawning, let's see if I can get one. Okay, so you get this big guy. Now he starts storing all of the shadow damage that you're doing. So that shadow damage comes from your diseases, it comes from Death Coil, it comes from Defile, and Vampiric Strike. So he stores all that damage, and then he will explode for that damage. So this makes it so you can get in AoE pulls, you can get some crazy high numbers. Now, you're probably wondering, is this rotation any different for single target? Is it any different for like if there's a ton of mobs? So in normal size packs, you still want to be spamming Death Coil, especially because it's so much priority damage that you can kill some of the caster or stronger adds quicker. But if you have 7 or more mobs, you can spam Epidemic instead of Death Coil, which will, anyone who has your diseases is going to take shadow damage. See how he just blew up a little bit there for the shadow damage? Let's do that again so you can see it. So you press Epidemic, and it tags all of them. So if you have over 7, you can press that button. Now for single target, the only real difference is that we are making sure that we have these wounds applied. Since they're not going to be passively applied as much from Defile, you are going to be pressing Festering Scythe to just give you 2 wounds and just keep the wounds on the target just for a little extra single target damage. When you're doing regular pulls, you don't need to be pressing Festering Strike because you're going to get enough wound generation just from Defile and your pet. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about stats now. So you're not going to want to copy my stats or anything. Like, don't look for these exact numbers. My gear is not perfect right now. But the main thing you want to remember is you need haste and mastery. So haste is really important because it increases your attack speed and rune regeneration. So that allows you to get more of the death coil procs from your auto attacks because you're attacking faster. And because of that, you're getting more of these vampiric strike procs, which help you get your stacks to 7 faster. So haste is just very, very, very valuable for sand lane. More death coils, more vampiric strikes. It's just flat out good. Mastery is also very good because it increases your shadow damage and the ability and the damage of your minions. But that's not as important. The shadow damage is the really important thing this season because your death coils are shadow damage, your vampiric strikes are shadow damage, and your blood beast blows up for shadow damage. So mastery is pretty much just a flat damage increase. So you need enough haste that you can be spamming and getting your Essence of the Blood Queen stacks to 7 and spamming death coils, and then your mastery is just going to increase the damage of those abilities. So haste and mastery, you don't really have any synergy with crit. You can see I have crit, it's just because I have some of the wrong gear right now. But haste and mastery is really important. As far as your tier set goes, you are going to want tier set on your head, you are going to want tier set on your shoulders, on your chest, and you're going to want tier set on your hands. I have it on the wrong place right now. Don't worry about that. I'm going to say that one more time. Your head, shoulders, chest, and hands will all be tier set. Those are going to be the best stats. And the reason you don't want it on your legs is because that is main stat crit. And like I said, crit is not as good. So you're going to want to either craft legs or get some haste mastery legs of some sort. As far as trinkets go, the best trinkets that you can use are either going to be some of the delve trinkets, which just give you extra stats, like this Mechano Core Amplifier. The other ones, those are some of the pretty easy ones to acquire because they come from delves. The other ones that you will want, like everybody else right now, are going to be the Eye of Kazan and also the House of Cards. Those are going to be the best trinkets for you this season. Everyone else needs those and wants those, so the delve ones I recommend because they're a little easier to get. You're not competing with other people. Alright guys, hopefully this is helpful. If you have questions, feel free to leave a comment below and I will get to it. If you want to talk things out, you want to get a little bit more in depth, I tried to make this guide a little quick. If you want to talk it out, come by my Twitch and I will take the time to walk you through it in detail. Thank you very much for watching and good luck this season, guys.